Gentlemen, start your engines. And they're underway.
Hello and welcome back everyone. In today's video, I don my sponsored laden overalls and get behind the wheel of a stock car in Daytona USA from Sega. Released in 1994 and inspired by the popularity of the NASCAR motor racing series in the US, the game has players race stock cars on one of three courses. It was also the first game to be released on the Sega Model 2 arcade system board, which was developed in partnership with GE Aerospace. Sega spent a huge amount of time researching motorsports and decided to make a game based on the popular stock car series. They also mapped the Daytona International Speedway for use in the game, and with the team's previous experience of working on Virtua Racing, it meant that the lighting and camera control was as good, if not better, in this game.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The player's objectives are to outrun the competing cars and complete the race before the time runs out, but the time can be extended by passing through checkpoints. Players begin in last place and compete against a field of up to 39 computer-controlled cars, dependent on the course selected. 3 courses are available for play: Beginner, Advanced and Expert, also known respectively as 3-7 Speedway, Dinosaur Canyon and Seaside Street Galaxy. The game's physics include realistic driving mechanics, including drifting and power sliding. The steering wheel in the arcade cabinet uses force feedback, so players feel collisions and bumps. Shifting is performed with an H-type shifter, but there is also the option for automatic gear selection. Daytona USA's arcade version on the Model 2 is capable of displaying up to 300,000 texture map polygons per second, nearly double that of the previous Model 1. Visually, the game uses texture filtering, giving the visuals a smooth appearance. As in Virtua Racing, the game's camera system presents 4 different view perspectives from which the game can be played, and also includes the ability to view behind the car. The arcade version also allows up to 8 players to compete with each other, depending on the number of cabinets linked together. Linked deluxe cabinets may also include a camera pointing towards the driver's seat, linked to a closed circuit television to show the player on a separate screen. I never ever seen a multiplayer cabinet of this in the wild, only the stand-up cabinets, but to be honest, I don't think it would have made any difference as to how the game plays. This game is one hell of a ride. From the stunning intro to the hill climbs and dips of Seaside Street Galaxy, this game oozes awesomeness from every exhaust port. It was a fantastic game to play in the arcades. I still remember the very first time I played this in the arcades. It was in the UCI cinema in Clydebank. I had been to the cinema with friends during the day to see the Jim Carrey movie The Mask. I had literally finished with high school a few days before this, and planned to spend the day just enjoying my newfound freedom, and after the movie I seen this game in the foyer and I thought it looked absolutely staggering. The super high quality visuals for the time made this game look like it was from the future, and it also heralded a new era in video game visuals. And the thing that always sticks with me was that it coincided with the ending of my childhood era and the beginning of my adulthood era. But enough of that gooey stuff. Let's focus on the game. The super smooth visuals and scrolling looked so much sharper than Virtua Racing. The texture mapping made a massive difference to the overall look of the game, although the tyres still look like 50p pieces. That couldn't have been a smooth ride in that car. A real filling listener ride for sure. The sound was just magnificent as well. The music was quiet in the cabinet in the cinema, but the sounds of the car engines, tyre screeches and bumps were ear-splitting, but in a good way. And I still rate these very highly today, and this game is now over 30 years old. Simply fantastic. The music is great too. These tunes are quite silly sounding, but they are also so catchy, especially the Blue Blue Sky tune, and special credit to the intro tune, which is also a very iconic piece of music. The playability was absolutely amazing, although at £1 a go, and the tracks being very short indeed, it did seem like a huge rip-off. But more and more of these new advanced 3D polygon games were £1 a go, and it just seemed this was the way things were going. But the pull of the game was very hard to resist. I will give a lot of credit to Sega here. They certainly knew how to pull in a punter to play their games. But unlike so many others like Afterburner and Space Harrier, Daytona USA was a brilliant game to play, and if this was going to be the calibre of next-gen gaming, then I couldn't wait. And it was obvious this game was going to appear on the Sega Saturn, and I thought that Sega were finally going to be returning to prominence on the home video gaming scene. As I have mentioned in previous videos, when it came to next-gen consoles, I remember getting it so totally wrong. I had managed to sniff out early that the Jaguar and 3DO were not going to cut it, and that the CD32 was going to be a flop. But I messed up big time when it came to Sega and Sony. I recall seeing both machines at my favourite import store, and a friend asking me what one I was going to get. My response was, the Saturn for sure. What does Sony know about video games? And this is how I ended up with a Sega Saturn on UK launch day +1. And when I got the Saturn, of course I picked up a copy of Daytona USA, and I have to say, it's an excellent game on the Saturn. I did see this running on a demo long before I got my Saturn, and noticed it wasn't quite as smooth as the arcade, but I wasn't bothered too much about that. I was more interested to know how it played, and as with all arcade racing games that get a home port, certain things need to be adjusted to the gameplay when steering with a D-pad. But overall, this game plays superbly, even without the wheel. It managed to capture that arcade feel, although I think this was mostly down to the excellent translation of the sound from the arcade. But I have to say, I loved this game, and I still enjoy playing this game today on the Saturn. And at least it's not costing £1 a go now. The game also featured a Saturn mode, which basically allowed for a real marathon of a race. 80 laps can be a slog, but at least Sega tried to add some value for money for their gamer base. The visuals are very rough when compared to the arcade, and there is a lot of clipping, but this was common in a whole lot of other 3D polygon racing games for the home, so it wasn't a big deal really. What was a big deal though was that it was obvious that the Saturn was going to look outdated quite quickly indeed. And at £400, and with the PlayStation UK release just a few months down the road, well, let's just say it was going to be a difficult few months ahead for Sega. Daytona USA was a critical and commercial success, with its graphics, soundtrack and gameplay all receiving high praise. It was followed by sequels and enhanced versions for consoles and arcades. It has been frequently named one of the best video games of all time, and rightly so. It truly was a great game indeed. Sega mandated that Daytona USA had to be better than Namco's 1993 racing game Ridge Racer, and it had to achieve higher sales in the arcades. Ridge Racer had reached the top of arcade sales charts at the end of 1993 and the beginning of 1994, and it received highly favourable reviews of its graphics, especially in comparison to Virtua Racing. But the big question was this: was it a better game? Well, that is a video for another time. And that was my look back at Daytona USA. If you liked this video, then please do all the usual like, comment, subscribe malarkey. And as always, a huge, big, massive thank you to all of those who have subscribed and commented on my channel. Your feedback and support really does help make the channel grow, and I do appreciate all of you. So it's a big thank you from me. And that's all from me, folks. Thanks for watching.
Check your position.
You placed 18th.